Welcome back to GA Fan TV. Kilkenny 222, Cork 22 points. Kilkenny have booked themselves into the National Hurling League final, and they're bidding to win their first league championship under Derek Lyng, their first piece of major silverware under their new manager, and a big win, a big result, a big performance from a Kilkenny perspective. And for Cork, it's another major trophy, another major honour that goes a begging. Quite incredible to think 1998, the last time Cork won the National Hurling League title. And as we very well know, they haven't won an All-Ireland since 2004. The only piece of silverware they have got at senior level in the last 20 years has been the Munster Championship. They've won plenty of them. They've won plenty of Munster Championships, in fairness to them. But this is another game, in my opinion, from a Cork perspective, that has got away from them, and you think of the opportunity that would have been there to play Limerick in a National Hurling League final. Look, Limerick, to be fair, are kind of going under the radar in the league because they're nowhere near their best side. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the players like Aaron Glenn, Keane Lynch, Grode Hegarty have been heavily rotated. Cole Hayes at times. They've heavily rotated throughout the entirety of the league, which has meant that a lot of people have looked at Limerick in the same breath of Limerick of the league of the last couple of years rather than Limerick of the championship. But Limerick have been brilliant. But what an opportunity it would have been to play them and get one over on them, going ahead of the Munster Championship or going into the Munster Championship. But fair play to Kilkenny, fair play to Derek Lyng. To get to a league final in his first season is very, very impressive stuff. And it was a great performance, right from the get-go. Kilkenny started strong and put Cork on the back foot. I mean, within the opening 3 minutes, they hit the opening 3 scores of the game. Richie Hogan getting on the score sheet. Billy Drennan, who's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic, sensational, whatever superlative you want to use for this man. He has been brilliant for Kilkenny, absolutely brilliant. And you think of the great hurlers that Kilkenny have produced down the years, the DJ Kerrys, albeit with a bit of an asterisk beside his name at the minute. But you have the likes of Richie Hogan, even, who I mentioned before, Richie Power, TJ Reid, all these legendary greats, Eddie Brennan, who've all played the game for Kilkenny. Owen Cody looks like another up-and-coming player. But Billy Drennan looks like another heir to the throne. He looks like another player who's just ready to come in and be the main man for this Kilkenny side. And even without TJ Reid, even without some of their star players, the likes of Owen Cody, for example, all these guys, like, missing big players, big star players, and they're not missing a beat. And I think Derek Lyng, has put his own sort of spin on this team, and he's bringing in younger players, Billy Drennan, Tommy Clifford, John Donnelly, now a regular starter as well, for example. Mossy Keown starting in a full forward. Like, he's put his own swing on this Kilkenny side, and he's getting big results. And they put Cork to the sword, and it was hard for Cork to keep up with them. There was a lot of frees. That's one thing I would say about this game, was that I felt like the referee never really let it flow. There was a lot of frees, a lot of fouls, and it was just a very stop-start game at times. But once Kilkenny got that goal from Mossy Keown in around the 20th minute, they kicked on, and Cork lacked a bit of energy, I felt. They lacked a bit of energy, they lacked a bit of fight, and, not too many goal chances from them. And they sort of, whether they were thinking too far ahead, thinking ahead of the Munster Championship, it just felt all too comfortable for Kilkenny. And even at half-time, you felt like this game is only going to go one way, and that's the way of Kilkenny, because they were, They were just winning all the 50-50 battles as well around midfield. Conor Fogarty was excellent, I felt. Alan Murphy was very good as well. Young Tommy Walsh in a fullback, I thought, had a very, very good game. And, other than Shane Kingston of Cork, like, they just lacked, they didn't have enough there, in my opinion. Yes, there might be players out with injuries and everything else. And obviously, they did bring the man, the myth, the legend of Patrick Horgan on with about 20 minutes to go. But he made a bit of an impact in the game, but all in all, it was fairly flat from Cork in terms of going forward. The red card obviously makes a bit of a difference going into the final 20 minutes from Owen Downey. It sort of slowed Cork down. One less man to sort of try and bridge the game back. And to be fair to Cork, that has been one thing that has been impressive with them this year, has been when they have gone behind, when they have faced adversity, like Limerick, for example, in the opening day of the league, they've been able to come back and show that fight and spirit. But that just wasn't the case. And the red card probably played a big sort of impact in doing that. But are Kilkenny even better under Derek Lyng this season than previous years? I think there's definitely a case to say yes, especially with the fresh lads that have come into the side, the likes of Billy Drennan, Tommy Clifford, a few other players sort of on the fringes. Young Tommy Walsh, who's sort of been on the fringes of Kilkenny the last couple of seasons, but is now sort of staking his helm as a regular starter. And the fact that they do still have the experienced heads of TJ Reid, Owen Cody, these lads to come back in and sort of make a mainstay of this Kilkenny side, or sort of integrate themselves back into the panel. So yeah, I think for Kilkenny, they're looking very, very strong. They're gone seriously under the radar. I think a lot of people were probably quick to write Kilkenny off, and have been quick to write Kilkenny off this year because they don't have Brian Cody as manager. But I think Derek Lyng, it's the next evolution of this Kilkenny side, and I think they're a team that definitely should not be wrote off. The fact that they're, let's not forget as well, in the Leinster Championship, which in my opinion, is much easier than the Munster Championship. I mean, it's night and day, really. When you look at Leinster, the only teams Kilkenny seriously have to compete with are Galway, Wexford, and Dublin. And they have Dublin's number. They've had Dublin's number for about 10 years nearly now, going as far back as 2013. Wexford can be hit and miss, and sometimes Wexford are a good side, but I think you would fancy Kilkenny to get the better of them. And they mightn't even have to get the better of them. They just need to finish in the top 3 to get out of the province. But, between them and Galway, it's between them and Galway, surely, for a Leinster Championship, you would feel. They're definitely the 2 best sides in that province, and they should be the 2 best sides competing for that Leinster title. So, yeah, I think Kilkenny are motoring very, very strong. And I think from a Cork perspective, it's another game that has gotten away from them. It's another chance of, winning a major trophy. Because are they going to win Munster this year? I don't think they will. I think Limerick are too strong. And I think Limerick are too strong in the All-Ireland as well. Your best case of beating Limerick in a final this year is probably the league final, because they won't have their best team available to them. And yeah, they lacked any fight, urgency. Fair enough, you've young lads coming in like Pádraig Power and Jack O'Connor obviously coming back in, which is good to see. Conor Cahalane in there, but a lot of yellow cards, a red card, a lot of indiscipline from Cork as well. And it's early days of Pat Ryan's sort of tenure as manager, but and ultimately Cork will be judged off the All-Ireland, the Munster Championship. Like, if Cork go on to have a great season in the All-Ireland, this game will mean absolutely nothing. And maybe this game could be a blessing, with the fact that they would have been playing Limerick, who they would have had to play a couple of weeks later anyway in the Munster Championship, and there isn't much of a turnover in terms of time between the different competitions. But yeah, I just think it's a missed opportunity for Cork. I do, given the fact that Kilkenny, as I said, missing a lot of key players. Daniel with a comment here says, down winning Ulster. Bit of a random comment there, but there you go. I don't know if you mean obviously there is no Ulster Senior Hurling Championship anymore, but if there was one, maybe Down would have a serious opportunity. But in terms of the football championship, I'm not sure. I think Down are improving quite nicely, but I'm not so sure about that. But yeah, we'll wrap this up here anyway. Fair play to Kilkenny, on to the league final. And we'll be going live with Matthew Hurley tomorrow, 5:30, to review all the football and hurling action. And cheers to anyone who tuned in to any of the streams earlier. Great stuff reacting to all the games live as they happened earlier. And I will make a bit of a highlights package out of that stream as well for some of you lads who haven't seen it. So yeah, cheers to anyone who tuned in. My name's Aaron. Catch you all soon.